Hey guys, today we're going to tell you a story about a chicken named Forrest. Now, I've been here for all the farm animals, but really to tell the story of Forrest, I've got to call on my lovely wife Dana, because she did all the work. Now, if you guys remember back last Christmas, I can't complain about the amount of chickens that are on our property. I know all about chicken math. But last Christmas, my wife, for Christmas, I gave her an incubator and an egg turner. So I guess I have to blame myself for this. So Dana, tell me the story of Forrest.
So Chris bought me an incubator for Christmas. So this spring we collected eggs. Paisley helped me. We collected them for about 5 days. After 5 days we had 28 eggs that we put into the incubator.
And our chicken eggs are all like a barnyard mix, right? We have like Americanas and I don't even know the different types of chickens.
Barred Rocks,
Barred Rocks and stuff. So they're all nice mixed different types of barnyard chickens.
So we put in 28 eggs into the incubator. On day 7, we candled them. It looked like all of them were starting to develop, so we kept them all in there, waited. Then a couple days before hatch day, we took out the egg turner and put them into lockdown, and a couple days later, they all started to hatch.
Lockdown? We put them into lockdown, didn't we?
We put them into lockdown. You have to up the humidity and not open the incubator and keep it that way for 3 days before they hatch.
And I think that's probably the key that a lot of people fail when they're incubating for the first time is they're so eager, they want to get in there and check it out all the time. And that's probably the critical time, right?
Yes, don't touch it. Even once the chick's starting to hatch, don't touch it. Leave it until they've all hatched. So after 26 of the eggs hatched, we waited a little while longer for the last 2 to hatch. Nothing was happening. We couldn't hear any more peeps. So we removed all the chickens, checked the last 2. They didn't develop. There was nothing in them other than a rotten egg. So we had 26 out of 28 hatch. And one little chicken couldn't seem to keep his legs underneath him. He kept flopping over and couldn't stand properly. So we kept him separated. I took some pictures, took some videos, posted them up onto Facebook, trying to ask some other chicken people for some advice because this was our first time hatching. I didn't know what went wrong, how to help him.
This is the chicken that we named Forrest.
Yes.
In honor of Forrest Gump the movie, because
Yes.
Forrest had problems with his legs.
Yes.
And he had to wear leg splints and braces and stuff, and that's how Forrest came to be for us. So how did Facebook help you?
I had numerous people tell me that Forrest had what they call his splayed leg. So his legs just weren't strong enough to hold his body up and stay underneath his body. So there's ways that you can make little splints for their legs that you should keep on for about 7 days to help strengthen the legs. And by the time you take the splints off, they should be good as new.
So every couple of days you were in the basement using drinking straws, vet wrap.
And well, the vet wrap didn't work. I thought maybe I could help straighten out his toes. So after the day 1 vet wrap, that wasn't working. So we just stuck with the basic splints that I was told to use. A little piece of drinking straw about 1 inch long with a tiny little hair elastic through the middle to just help keep his legs straight and in the right position. So he lived downstairs in the half of the incubator, and he was eating and drinking and flopping around and getting places and doing things. And 4 days later, I took the splints off and there was no progress. So I took another updated video, put it back up there for everyone to try and let me know what's going on, what I'm doing. They said splints look great, keep it up.
And this wasn't like you're just putting on general Facebook. You were actually posting this in very specific chicken
keeper
pages
groups.
and stuff.
Yes.
So people, there's a lot of, I'm sure there's a lot of basic chicken people. If you're starting with chickens like us, we go there for information. But there's also a lot of extremely knowledgeable people
Yes.
on these groups as well.
Yes. So after they had seen the videos and they had seen photos and looked at pictures of our splints, we were able to come up with a game plan.
So I think it needs to be said is that at Outnumbered Acres, the Little Bigs farm, every animal stands a chance. Now I know to some people when they're buying their chicks at Tractor Supply or in Canada PV Mart or wherever you end up buying your chicks, is if you saw a chick like this, it might only be $2 at these supply stores. But this was our first chickens, and every chick deserves a chance. And if we can give them a full quality of life, we're going to do that. It doesn't matter if it's a 10-cent chicken or if it's a cow, it is whatever it is, that animal deserved life. He wasn't suffering. We gave him everything we could. And you were down there every day working with Forrest.
Yep, we were down there every day, hand feeding him, making sure he's got fresh water, food, interacting with him so that he was used to us handling him, checking his splints, doing everything. We knew based on the advice we were given that what he had with his legs was not something that was painful. He was still thriving, growing. His feathers started coming in. Everything was good. Then I left the splints on after day 4 for at least another week. We checked his legs. Still no progress. I tried asking for more advice. No one really had anything else to give me, so I started researching on my own. And after numerous page searches and other places to get information from, it turns out that he did not have what they call a splayed leg. He had what is a slipped tendon on his leg. So had we known that advice within 24 hours, we could have reset it and put him in a special little cup with food and water, let him heal on his own. But by this point, his joints were basically fused. So there was no repair at this point.
There was no way going back.
You couldn't go back. It was stiff. There was no moving his legs. If you tried to pull them into the direction they were supposed to, everything was stiff. He didn't peep out in pain, nothing. He didn't seem to be in pain. He was still able, so I took the splints off. He was still able to waddle himself to food, to water. He was constantly singing in the basement, happy as could be.
As people can understand, I've had to say, that's Forrest in the background. When we were doing all the videos and stuff in the background, they would hear this cheep, cheep, cheep all the time. And he never had, you're right, he never showed any pain or anything like that. And other than the deformities within his legs, or I guess his tendons, as you say, he lives a normal chicken life.
For sure he does. Yeah, he's happy as can be. He would. So we knew that we had done what we could do. We didn't want to keep his legs splinted any longer, so that as his feet grew, they weren't ever going to get too tight or cut off circulation. So we moved him outside with the bigger chickens, his hatch mates. At this point, he was a quarter of the size of everybody else. Everybody else is fully feathered. He still is covered in fluff. He only has some tail feathers and wing feathers. Once we moved him out with the full-grown chickens, we kept a close eye on him to make sure that they were accepting of him and weren't going to pick on him because he was different or someone new coming in, and they all accepted him. You'd go out there and he'd be in the middle of the huddle keeping warm. He'd be the first one to the food dish and everyone would move out of the way. He'd found the water, he found shelter, he's totally adapted to life outside out of the basement. He's happy, healthy, thriving, growing. He's starting to catch up to the other ones now. And once the other chickens move out from their temporary outside home, he'll move into the big coop with the big chickens.
Here's Forrest. He's integrated. He's been accepted with his brothers and sisters. These were all the incubator mates. I'm not trying to stress them out, but he's noticeably smaller. He's still got some of his down and not fully feathered out like his big brother and sisters. But he deserves to have a happy life, eats and drinks, and he gets along with all his brothers and sisters just the same. Now they're all still sitting in the little makeshift shelter that is we do every year when we hatch. We put them outside. This is the trampoline. And this is like phase 1 of the integration. After they come out after the incubator, they go into the garage, into a horse trough, and we wait until they're almost completely feathered out before we move them outside. Forrest never made it to the garage, though. He basically stayed in the small incubator downstairs until he was almost big enough, and then my wife just figured he belongs with his brothers and sisters, and we moved him outside, and we watched him for the first couple of days, made sure he'd be accepted, and they treat him as if they're brother and sister, and it's all harmonious. We've now opened up the underneath the trampoline. We open up in the daytime so they can start learning to come out and graze, and eventually they will make their way in there with the rest of them in the chicken coop. Still living with his brothers and sisters. He's getting along fine. We're going to give him as long and healthy a life as we can provide for him. He's a good chicken. It's okay. It's okay, Forrest. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. He's a good chicken.
As always, thanks for watching. Take care.